Now on CoastTV News.
Emergency dredging happening in Ocean City when the inlet will be dug out.
A developing story. The Cool Springs Crossing development clears another hurdle.
Wine shipments in the first state when that could be a possibility.
With the sunshine returning, we have more heat and humidity on the way. Details on that coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
A boat in the Ocean City Inlet in shallow water. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. We begin tonight with the Army Corps of Engineers planning an emergency dredging project.
The Army Corps says the inlet's really in dire need of that dredging. Live in Ocean City is CoastTV News reporter Kevin Zapay. Kevin, the Army Corps says emergency dredging will start in just a few weeks.
Maddie, right behind me is where they're looking to dredge starting on July 21st. And we talked to boaters who told CoastTV that dredging this area would be beneficial for all the boaters sailing in and out. Brendan Hanley is the owner of Pure Lore in West Ocean City and says the channel near the Ocean City Inlet has filled in with sand during the winter and spring, which is already causing problems for boaters.
Just in the last week, we've seen a few, get hung up right there. And, again, that sand has filled in tremendously. So I think it's very important they get that cleaned up.
With more trouble traversing through the water, the Army Corps of Engineers say they will begin dredging on July 21st. They plan to dredge 7,500 cubic yards of material near the northern half of the Ocean City Inlet channel near the harbor. Now, according to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the emergency dredging is based on the need for the U.S. Coast Guard to be able to respond in case of an emergency. The Army Corps says the timing is intentional.
It has to be done before the White Marlin Open. When that tournament's here, it's the largest and richest billfish tournament in the world. We'll have over 400 boats participating in that event.
The Army Corps will be using the Merit boat to get the job done. Now, according to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, this dredging project is only going to take 8 days to complete. I'm Kevin Zapay, live in West Ocean City, CoastTV News.
You remember Ocean City was dredged last year too. That operation focused on close to the Route 50 bridge, also at the intersection of the inlet and the Isle of Wight channels.
Back in front of Sussex County Planning and Zoning today was the massive mixed-use plan called Cool Spring Crossing. CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken is live in Georgetown. Emma, the county gave the first green light.
Charlie, just behind these doors just a few minutes ago, Sussex County Planning and Zoning recommended approval of Cool Spring Crossing, saying this will provide a range of housing options and essential healthcare and medical services. And the approval comes with a handful of conditions that will go to County Council. Cool Spring Crossing is located off of Route 9 and Cool Spring Road. The idea is a massive mixed-use development with more than 1,900 housing units spread across 7 villages, plus a YMCA, grocery store, restaurants, a hotel, an art or theater center, retail space, a gas station, and other commercial amenities. Some locals we spoke with today say the infrastructure simply cannot handle a development this size.
The last thing we need is 1,900 more houses. It's hard to get a medical appointment, and it's hard to go anywhere.
Again, the recommendations today still must go to County Council for final approval. Reporting live in Georgetown, Emma Aiken, CoastTV News.
This brings us to our CoastTV poll. We want to know what concerns you most about Sussex County development.
Let's take a look at the results so far. 58% say more traffic, 22% say losing open space, 18% say healthcare strain, just like that lady told Emma, 2% they say school crowding.
And if you haven't voted yet, you can do that at coasttv.com or leave us a comment. Plus, you can use our mobile app.
A Delaware man has died in prison. The Department of Corrections says 43-year-old Ronald Morrow was found unresponsive in his cell at the Sussex Correctional Institution. That's in Georgetown. An autopsy and a death investigation, those are both being conducted.
And let's take a live look outside as we get ready to check in with our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams. Paul, what sort of weather are we looking at as we head towards the weekend?
A little more in the way of sunshine, a little more in the way of heat and humidity making a comeback, so to speak. But the cloudy skies today allow for to actually tap down the temperatures a little closer, if not a little bit below the norm for this time of the year. We're at 83 degrees right now in Milford. Now here's a look at some of the rainfall. We had over a half an inch for us in Georgetown, closing in on a full inch for us in Salisbury. We had over an inch and a half, 1.67 officially in Cambridge, and we had just over a quarter of an inch in Ocean City. It's 75 degrees in Rehoboth, 80 in Milton, and in Georgetown, Seaford, as well as Laurel. As far as where we are, as far as our rainfall account, look, for the month we're at a quarter of an inch officially at Georgetown. Normally would be about, let's say, 0.15. We're a little bit above that, but we just started July now. Before the year, we're nearly an inch and a half beyond our normal rainfall totals. We'll have more on the amount of rain that happened, which really we had the lion's share earlier this morning, and we'll also take a look at your 4th of July celebration forecast, Maddie.
Thank you. Delaware moves closer to allowing wine shipped from out of state. The bill is just awaiting being signed into law. If you want wine shipped to your home, you'd be able to get 3 9-liter cases per household each year, but not right away. This all goes into effect 1 year after it's signed into law.
Maryland State Police say they are ramping up enforcement ahead of the Independence Day weekend. Troopers across all 23 barracks will increase patrols. We also have a fly-in here to target impaired, distracted, and aggressive driving on the Eastern Shore. Now, the focus is going to be on those large roads like US 50, 13, and 301. In the House of Representatives, it is crunch time for President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill.
The president wants to sign his signature legislation filled with tax cuts and spending priorities, actually on the 4th of July holiday.
But as Monica Alba shows us right now, the vote on an amendment has been stalled for more than 2 hours while GOP leadership pushed Republican lawmakers on the fence to vote yes.
As Republicans were touting the benefits of President Trump's signature tax and spending bill on the House floor.
Historic tax relief for working families, massive investments to secure our nation's borders, capturing generational savings.
The president himself working behind the scenes, meeting with lawmakers at the White House, trying to please Republicans who say the Senate version spends too much.
But the overall deficit number is not good. I think it got worse.
And trying to calm other Republicans' fears that cuts to social programs go too far.
Those meetings are having a big impact. Members are moving to yes. Donald Trump is the best closer in the business, and we're going to get it done.
Democrats amping up the pressure on potential holdouts.
So all we need are 4 Republicans to join us in support of their constituents.
So at a time when most households are struggling to afford the basics, Republicans have a clear message for American families. You don't matter.
The Senate-passed version extends the 2017 Trump tax cuts, slashes funding for Medicaid and food stamps, and increases funding for border security and the military. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimates it will add more than $3 trillion to the national debt and will strip health care coverage from more than 11 million people. Republicans are working under a President Trump-imposed July 4th deadline.
I feel good about where we are and where we're headed, and stay tuned. There's more conversations to be held.
The tricky part for House Republicans is they have to pass the Senate version of the bill unchanged if they want to get it to the president's desk by Friday. Any reluctant House members who want to make deals on the side would have to do that and pass it through separate legislation. Otherwise, it could take additional days or even weeks for this to get across the finish line. Monica Alba, NBC News, Washington.
Sean Diddy Combs has been acquitted on the most serious charges in his sex trafficking trial. The jury found Combs guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution and not guilty on 1 count of racketeering, conspiracy, and 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. The maximum penalty for each of the 2 guilty counts is 10 years in prison and a fine, but Combs' defense is moving that he be released on bail pending sentencing. New at 5, police have identified the Frankfurt woman who was found dead earlier this week. According to police, Jessica Thompson, a 37-year-old woman, was found by police after a welfare check at a home on Zion Church Road. Officers say Thompson was dead from a gunshot wound. While details are scarce, police say they don't think that there is a threat to public safety. Still to come, cuts to Delaware schools. What programs are on the chopping block?
And thanks to all this rain we felt earlier, now we have to deal with a steamy situation. More on that coming up.
But first, pesky pests. If you are spotting these spotted lanternflies, what to do? Up next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
You may have seen them, swatted them, squashed them. We're talking about those spotted lanternflies.
The invasive species don't bite or sting, but they suck the sugar out of trees, leaving them weak.
If you see them, environmentalists and agencies say kill them.
So you might see that little black bug with white spots, or you might see a red bug with white spots. Same bug, just different stages. And then in a few weeks, those will transition to the adult stage where they grow wings.
The Delaware Department of Agriculture says kill any lanternflies you see and scrape off their egg masses if you still see them on trees. Drivers should expect delays Monday, July 7th. The Maryland State Highway Administration is going to begin repairing 2 bridges in Salisbury, part of US 50 and Main Street over the Wycomico River. That's going to be affected. You can see the area on your screen right now. All the work is set to begin at 7 a.m., weather permitting. The agency says all construction is expected to be done by May of 2026.
A federal judge has put the brakes on proposed changes at the Department of Health and Human Services. The judge in Rhode Island issued a preliminary injunction in a federal lawsuit filed by 20 states in May. The suit said efforts to dismantle HHS will have irreversible consequences to public health services across the country. In her ruling on Tuesday, the judge said the executive branch does not have the authority to change the structure and function of agencies created by Congress. The judge has ordered the Trump administration not to enforce the layoffs or restructuring.
Here's a look at your Bay forecasts. In Cambridge, 89 on Thursday. Then we stay in the mid to upper 80s all the way till the weekend. Your full forecast is just around the corner. Well, we're finally getting a chance to recover from all the storms we had yesterday and the heavy downpours we had from this morning. Got some tabulation news to pass along to you. And you know what? That same rain, as it's evaporating, is going to turn us right back over towards the steamy side of things, at least in some isolated areas. In Cambridge, we're at 81 degrees. The winds out of the north staying calm, staying in the lower 80s till the sun goes down. Then we'll slip into the mid 70s. Now, with it becoming a little muggier, we're a little concerned and we're continuing to monitor the air quality index. We're mainly in the green, but we're picking up a little bit of yellow in the sense of moderate air quality for us near the Dover area. We're going to continue to keep a watchful eye on that. 75 right now in Rehoboth. We're at 84 in Redden, 79 Millsboro, Gumboro, Delmar, and 78 degrees right now in Dagsboro. Here's a current look at what's happening with our live radar and satellite depiction of what's going on. Staying relatively quiet. We see scattered clouds in place. The rain down to our south and out of the way from yesterday, but this morning, we had this frontal boundary and really this trough that helped to kick off some scattered showers. And because it was such a slow mover, it dumped a lot of rain in some isolated pockets. Now, not so much in Ocean City because that was just over 1/4 inch, but we had over a 1/2 inch in Georgetown and over 1.5 inches in Cambridge, 1.67 to be exact. But it was even more so in some areas. In Lewis, we had almost 2 inches of rain there. And in Prime Hook, 1.82 actually in Greenwood. Nearly 1.5 inches for us in Delmar, 1.34 in Seaford, Dagsboro over 1 inch. We also had over 1 inch, for example, in Bethany Beach, and close to 1 inch in Georgetown, Dellendale, as well as Laurel, and just shy of 3/4 inch in Rehoboth Beach, as well as Milford. But once again, with that combined with the steaminess and the temperatures kicking back in, we're looking for the air quality to be a concern for us. Take a look at our expectations for tomorrow. 89 for the high in Rehoboth, as well as Georgetown, 88 Laurel. Winds out of the west, 5 to 13 miles per hour. 90 for the high in Cambridge, 89 in Vienna. We're warm to 89 in Berlin, but 88 for the high in Ocean City. Taking a look along the coast, we have mid-80s, perhaps worse in Rehoboth Beach, but then we're in the lower 90s in other locations with the winds out of the west. So it's going to go back to being steamy. See, in the morning time, we start off at 71, then we end up well into the 90s for Thursday. Friday, start off in the 60s, we'll still end up in the 80s for the afternoon as well. And then the UV index, that's the really real rub here. We're at a level of 10, very high, just shy of extreme. 5 more days in a row. And our July 4th planner, listen, we're looking for it to stay in the 80s, well into the 80s for the 4th of July, so keep all that in mind. So as we go up the beach, we go from 90 to 86 in Chincoteague, for example, but no additional rain. Then for Ocean City, 83 to 79, but additional sunshine there. High UV index. And then we go from 89 to 85 and 85 in Lewis. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. Listen, on July the 4th, we may catch a random sprinkle or two, but that's not going to be a big deal. But over the weekend, we clear out nicely.
Paul, thank you. Several areas across our region experienced storm damage. Take a look at this flooding in Baltimore. That water incredibly high there, and some drivers were not even able to see the road when the storms came through.
The city of Salisbury says the fireworks show kicks off Friday at James M. Bennett High School. Officials say gates for that open at 6 p.m. The show begins at 9:15.
Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network. At 7, the Shorebirds look to make it 2 in a row over the Fredericksburg Nationals. Then it's the final score at 10:30 p.m. Over on the DSN Plus app at 6. We have boys and girls high school soccer league at DE Turf.
And coming up, helping community cats, low-cost spay and neuter opportunities in Sussex County. Stay tuned on Coast TV News at 5.
We salute Jerry Thompson. Dr. Gerald Thompson graduated from Dover High School in 1965. By 1967, he was in Vietnam serving as an 82nd Airborne Ranger LRRP attached to 173rd Infantry, 23rd Infantry and Americal Division. On August 18, 1968, Jerry left Vietnam and met a beautiful girl who became the love of his life, Colleen Ann Connell. In 1972, Jerry started at Milford High School as the music teacher and band director. Jerry dedicated his life to sharing the joy music with generations of students.
Spicer Brothers and Coast TV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a Coast TV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
Delaware's Secretary of Education says the state is losing over $26 million meant for teacher training, migrant education, and more. The Secretary says that's over 10% of Delaware's total federal K-12 funding. The Secretary of Education saying we are coordinating with our district and our charter leaders this week to discuss impacts and contingencies, adding adult education programs may be affected as well. We will have an in-depth article on this right now on CoastTV.com.
The Chicago suburb where newly elected Pope Leo XIV grew up, that's ready to be purchased. Since Pope Leo was elected in May as the first American pope, the home has gained national attention and drawn many visitors. The Dolton Village Board voted unanimously on Tuesday to buy it. The mayor said the sale is likely to close within the next 2 weeks.
The next time you pour yourself a cup of coffee, you might want to consider holding the cream and sugar. A new study suggests taking your coffee black could help you live longer. Researchers found coffee drinkers who put a little or no sugar in and their cream in their coffee, they had a lower risk of death from cardiovascular disease. In fact, drinking black coffee was associated with a 14% lower risk of all-cause mortality as compared to no coffee consumption.
Let's take a live look outside one time into Lewis. One more check on your forecast after this.
All community cats and the cool ones as the neighbors who care for them as well. The Brandywine Valley SPCA says appointments are available to spay and neuter and vaccinate outdoor cats. You can bring up to 5 cats and it's $10 per cat. Coming up new on Coast TV News at 6, a 4-pawed prisoner. This one's not a cat, where Ocean City Police found this cutie.
All right, so let's take a look at our forecast in Laurel. We have overcast clouds, but that actually helped us to not get too warm. But we had a lot of cloud cover and a lot of rain from earlier today. It will drop to 75 degrees by 9 o'clock. Here's a look at live radar. Listen, we have no additional scattered showers to play with, but the scattered showers just falling to the south. A small little shower just popped up just northwest of Chincoteague, but don't see that being a widespread problem for tonight. John Salomon of Millsboro, congratulations with our umbrella giveaway winner, courtesy of Paul Davis Restoration. Keep up with your forecast by calling our 24-hour weather line. Your forecast is just a call away. Sponsored by the law offices of Bruckstedt, Mandalis, and Federico. And finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Look for that sunshine on July the 4th and more rain next week.
All right, Paul, thank you, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news, more local weather, download that Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.